In this video, I'm going to be showing you that you're training way too much. So basically, I used to train 6 days a week with really high intensity, really high volume. And while this worked in the short term, this ultimately wasn't a sustainable workout program for me because I was constantly hitting plateaus. I wasn't making progress in the gym. And we know that progressive overload, basically increasing your mechanical tension on the muscle over time, is the driver of hypertrophy. So basically, to set the frame for this video, anything in your workout program that doesn't move you closer towards making progress in the gym, being able to achieve progressive overload, is garbage. If it doesn't help you do that, then it shouldn't be in your workout routine. So my point with this is that when I was training with all this volume so frequently and with high intensity, my body was not recovering properly. And what this did for me was that every time I would go into the gym and try to hit a PR, I would keep plateauing. I wouldn't be able to go up in weight. I would go up to a certain point and then I would hit the same weight over and over again, and then I would go down and then I would come back up to where I was, but I could never get over that limit. And I know a lot of you guys are probably going through this as well because there's so many people who are still doing what I did for so long. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that if you understand how to train with intensity, which I do know a lot of people don't, but for the majority of people that have been training for a little while, people that know how to push themselves, if you're training close to or to failure in your sets as a natural, if you're strong enough, you are not going to be able to recover from this if you're training too often and with that intensity. And guys, if you want to know exactly how I train and all the knowledge that I've gotten throughout the years to train optimally as a natural and make progression, then I made you guys a free optimal training blueprint. It's the first link in the description. If you check it out, it's really going to help you understand how to train optimally and make progress long term, especially without the help of PEDs. You really need to understand how your training works and what works for your body in order to actually make progress. So check it out, it's going to give you a ton of free value. Basically, in order to progress and achieve progressive overload, you need to make sure that your body is fully recovered going into your next workout. So there's two main things that I did in my routine in order to start making progress again. The first one was obviously reducing my overall volume. So I was doing way too many exercises with way too many sets and literally pushing myself to failure on every single set. And I don't really have a problem with the intensity part because it ensures that I'm training close enough to failure, if not to failure, obviously, in order to activate all my muscle fibers and have enough effective reps to stimulate muscle growth. But the problem with having that high intensity as well as high volume is that you're just doing way too much and your body is accumulating so much fatigue because you're training to failure, which is really hard on your body, that the next time you go into your workout, your body's not going to be fully recovered to be able to push yourself that hard again. And if you do, you're not going to be getting stronger because obviously the adaptations that you would have made last workout are still not fully built into your body yet. You need to give your body enough time to actually materialize the progression. Like when you train hard and do a hard workout, not only do your muscles need to recover, but your central nervous system also has to recover. So if both of those things are not recovered, you haven't made the adaptation yet. If you go into your next workout before those things have happened, then you're not going to be going up in weight. And that's why I constantly was doing the same weight over and over again, even sometimes going down because I was training so hard that the constant beating down on my body and destroying my muscles was literally hindering my progress. I was going backwards. And this was really a red flag for me when I first started seeing this, was that I was doing this for so long. I would make progress at a new exercise and then I would just stop making progress. I would switch exercises, start doing the same thing, stop making progress. And I also wasn't seeing that much difference in the mirror. Not to mention how much time I was wasting in the gym just doing all this shit for like 2+ hours and then doing cardio afterwards. And I was just exhausted. It was affecting my sleep as well. My joints hurt, I was getting injured. All these things were literally just because I was pushing myself too hard with too much volume. And obviously the next thing I reduced was my frequency in the gym, which basically allowed me to have more rest days where I wasn't in the gym, and it allowed my body to recover even more. So the combination of both of these changes was really what allowed my body to start recovering optimally. And then what happened was really magical. I started working out less, which is actually really difficult for me because I like working out so much. It makes you want to go in the gym more often. Like when I'm at home thinking about what I could do or if I could change something and it might give me more gains, sitting at home doing nothing and just thinking about it is torture. I want to go and try it. I want to go do it. But the problem is if you just keep doing this, without giving your body enough rest, you're not going to be able to actually gain muscle. You're just going to be breaking down your body over and over again. So what happened was I was able to recover more, and then I would go in the gym and just start hitting PRs every single time. And obviously it's not every single workout as you get more advanced, but it was so often compared to before that it was just crazy that I had never tried that before. I knew how to train intensely, but I was so brainwashed by social media and saying high volume is better, as well as just me being obsessed with the gym and wanting to be there every day. Once I was able to finally pull myself out of the gym, give myself some rest days, and lower my volume, everything changed. I started making so much more progress. If you feel like you're putting in a lot of work in the gym and you're just not getting the strength gains you want, you just keep hitting walls and you're trying to hit PRs and you're just not getting them, it's probably a recovery issue. If you look at any strong, natural power lifter, they are super serious about their recovery, especially their coaches, because they have to train with high frequency. Basically, they have to drop the other two variables. So they'll train below maximum intensity and they'll also train with less volume. And it really is a balance of all those three things: volume, intensity, and frequency. And if you find the combination of all three that allows you to fully recover and make progression easy, then that is what you need to stick to. And for me, and I think for most naturals, it's a lot lower than we actually think, because the numbers are skewed upwards because of all these people on PEDs. Another thing I didn't quite understand at first was that as you get stronger and you're in the gym longer, you'll realize that you can't recover as well as you used to. And it's because you start moving more weight. So you're getting stronger, you're putting more mechanical tension on your muscle, therefore your body needs more recovery to be able to adapt to that new stimulus. And what I used to believe was that as you got stronger, because your muscle got more resistant to training, you would need to up your volume and actually train harder and harder. But as long as you're training intensely close to failure and you're going up in weight over time using progression models that actually work, that's what actually gets you the results. And the same thing also goes if you're in a deficit and you're trying to get leaner. Obviously your recovery when you're in a cut goes down, it doesn't go up. You're eating less food, therefore you have less fueling your muscles literally. So wouldn't it make sense to lower your volume so your body can actually recover from your workouts and potentially you can even make more progress in a cut? Like, this is what, it's so common sense now that I explain it out loud. But before, because I was just seeing so much information on high volume, high frequency, it was almost like common sense just was thrown out the window. I didn't even like think about these things, but it's so obvious. If you're in a deficit, you need to be able to recover from your workouts more. So you need to lower your volume or lower your frequency, and again, just maintain that balance between volume, frequency, intensity. And as long as you're doing that and still progressing, or at least maintaining progression, especially if you're in a really deep cut, you're going to be completely fine. Again, as a baseline, if you're not progressing, you're not building muscle. So literally you need to make sure that, so if you've been training with what you think is moderate volume, then you need to really realize that if you're not making progression and if you're plateauing constantly, then you need to change something. And what I recommend is actually going down in volume, and I'll probably realize that you need a lot less than you think to actually grow, and that more is actually not better as a natural, especially as you get stronger and as you work out longer. I do want to make the exception that a lot of beginners, first of all, beginners will make progress pretty much no matter what, but a lot of beginners can get away with a bit more volume because they're lifting such light weights. It's literally impossible for them to overtrain. So that's the exception. But for everyone else, I think that a lower amount of volume is way more time efficient, way more just efficient in general for allowing you to make progression happen. And it's going to be able to give you the progress you actually want. Again, if you guys want to know more in detail how to train optimally as a natural, then check out my free optimal training blueprint. Again, it's the first link in the description and it's going to give you a ton of free value. Thanks for watching.